Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to We Love Metal. We're on the line with Sam from Annex Theory. How you doing today, Sam?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Good. You guys have got a lot going on right now. A new album, Beneath the Skin,
Yeah, it's great to finally have something out. Yeah,
and a big tour coming up across Canada, I believe.
yeah, man. Starting up in our tour kickoff is in 11 days, and then we head out a couple days after that. Just the Winnipeg show first. Yeah, we're super stoked.
Awesome, and that's going to be a hometown show for you.
Yeah, for sure. We're playing with Leica, who's the band who got us on the tour. The singer from that band, Jordan Dorge, actually booked the whole tour for us and got us on. So yeah, he organized the local show to be the first one, and it's going to be great.
Awesome. You guys are hitting. The reason we're talking today, you're hitting Halifax on August 20th.
Yes, well, kind of. Our date actually got canceled for Halifax, but we're trying to book another one. But yeah, we just found out yesterday. I guess the promoter pulled out, but we're in the process of trying to book another one. I heard there's a festival going on with like Misery Index and stuff too. So yeah, it'd be great to get on that, but we're gonna make sure we swing by.
Excellent, because we're definitely looking forward to seeing you. With the record that you have out right now, we gave it an 8.5 because I'll tell you, it's something that we've never heard before. I mean, did you guys set out to change the style a bit to break the monotony that's out there right now?
Well, I wouldn't say that we set out to make an impact doing it. I just would say that none of us are very close. Like, we've all heard everything over and over again, and we're all kind of in the same boat where there are very few bands that we actually listen to because they repeat each other, and we didn't really want to fall into that. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, initially we didn't plan on having keyboards, but I guess that's kind of what makes it different is the way that Matt writes. It really I mean, it's not like with most progressive bands that have keyboard, you would assume it would be kind of like like Children of Bodom or whatever, like really
Yes,
leady
yeah.
all the time. But I don't know. It's like we play a more rhythmic type of music, and the keys definitely suit it. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we just didn't want to play songs that sounded like everything else because we'd get bored doing it.
Now, when you guys are getting together to write, are you writing your own pieces? Because everything seems to blend well, yet like the drums, for instance.
Yeah, I don't like talking about it, but I actually do the bulk of the writing. I write a lot with a program called Guitar Pro. Basically, how it works is I'll come up with ideas for songs and just tab them out and write as I go. And when I hear something, I don't just hear guitar or I don't just hear keys. I kind of hear the whole song. So I just kind of tab out my ideas, and that's kind of like I make skeletons of songs that way. And then Matt obviously writes all his own key stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I'll kind of piece it together. We send it to each other using Guitar Pro, and basically we all have it learned when we go to jam. And then after everybody's learned it with the program, we go and just jam it out, and everybody kind of adds their own little tricky things in it. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what gives it its uniqueness. Is because I mean, the way that we write it is we write all the songs sort of within the same format, I guess, and I guess that's why it all blends. But because everybody kind of adds to it when we jam it out, that's what gives each song its uniqueness, I guess.
Well, I think you did a really good job of capturing that jamming feeling. It definitely comes across.
Cool.
And I found it a really engaging album, and that's what we talked a lot about. It pulls you in. There's a lot of catchy rhythms there.
Yeah, totally. We really like to have a lot of groove, like lots of rhythmic, yeah, I don't know, like rhythmic stuff that isn't just chugging on the low string, pretty much.
Now, for these people out here that are absolutely obsessed with genre labels, where would you put Annex Theory at?
I just say progressive. I mean, progressive is a pretty broad genre because part of being progressive is mixing lots of stuff into the sound. And when people go on classifying all these bands, like, I guess gent is like a big term now, like with Periphery and Tesseract and all those bands. And we love all those bands. I'd say they're probably our biggest influence. But, I don't know. I'd say just progressive because really, if you think about it, there's so many things that fall into progressive that you don't need to get all into these, like, crazy subgenres of things. And I think that sums it up pretty well.
Now, through your guys' time together, have you always been a band that used harsh and clean vocals?
Yep, we wanted to do that from the beginning. I don't like having just one or the other because it's nice to mix it up and have a sense of both. Obviously, you get a lot more aggression with the heavy vocal, which is great for heavy parts, but it doesn't always suit when you want to have like a chorus or something. You need to have a hook to it. We've all been big fans of melodic vocal, no matter what we listen to, really. So yeah, we always wanted to have both.
How do you find it, people hearing you for the first time? Does it come across well in a live setting?
Yeah, I think we're we're a much better live band than we are on recording, I would say. A lot of our fans who hear us, I mean, we only have one release out on iTunes, and we're just getting physical copies now. So I mean, through that, people will stumble upon it or people will forward it ever. But you know, in a live setting is really when you're going to engage an audience and stuff, because you can see the visual representation of what the band's about too. The songs are one thing, but if you can like have an energy on stage and kind of captivate the audience just with your show, they'll probably get a lot more engaged if they can get in with that too. You know.
What can people expect when they see you guys on stage?
Very large variety of things. I don't know. I really feel that everybody in the band kind of has their own different presence on stage. We don't really do a lot of, like choreographed stuff. We just go up and play pretty much, like we hang out all the time and just jam out and have fun, and that's pretty much what it's like on stage. It's just a good vibe. Just fun. We go up there and we love doing it, and we want everybody else to enjoy it too.
Awesome. Something I wanted to ask you about, Sam, was coming from Canada.
Yeah, I'm actually from Halifax, by the way.
Are you? Wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent. We're located just outside of Halifax.
Really?
So.
I lived in Dartmouth from when I was born till I was 11, then I moved out here in Winnipeg.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We, some other bands, I mean, Cancer Bats, Beneath the Masker, we've asked, larger Canadian bands this as well. Do you find it harder in metal in Canada to get your name out there?
I think Canada's just a harder market because it's not like for touring is really the way to get your name out. And with Canada, everything's so spread out, I guess, like all the drives are much further than the States. And I guess metal, I mean, we can say what we want, but metal is still, it's not underground. I don't know, like when people say bands are underground when people actually know them, but it is less popular than, radio play music. And I guess just the drives can make it really hard for up-and-coming bands like that to be able to finance their own tours and stuff, and that's really what makes it difficult.
Do you find, though, the Canadian musicians, I've found this personally working with them, that there's more of a brotherhood there than there seems to be on the other side of the border?
Yeah, and I guess that's because everybody can relate to that circumstance. Everybody knows it's tougher as a band with a smaller market to make a name, and everybody appreciates everybody else, You're all in it together, and yeah, I guess the other bands that are doing it are the bands that are making it easier for you, With those bands going, they might not be spreading the word about you guys, but they're spreading that kind of scene, and, without them, we couldn't play those shows either.
Where do you go? I mean, right now you've got a lot of publicity behind you. This tour is going to be big. How do you capitalize on this? Where do you go from here?
We want to just keep touring. I mean, we have a lot of material written and stored right now. The EP is actually a very small portion. Those are actually like the first 4 songs that we wrote. And I guess we chose to put those out mainly because we've changed our writing style a lot. I think people are really going to be surprised by the new stuff. It's really different. So yeah, we basically just want to keep touring off the EP as much as we can and keep recording demos. Try to get the name out, and hopefully it'll do some good, and we can put out a full album with all this new stuff, and then just keep doing it and promote that.
For those to be your first 4 songs, that speaks a lot to the quality you guys are willing to put out, because it is a great piece of music that you have right there.
Thanks a lot, man. We're really excited. I mean, Beneath the Skin and Event, the first 2 tracks were like the first few. I mean, there was Event and there was 2 songs before that, and we didn't end up using those. We ended up storing them and actually rewriting them. But those 2 are there's only going to be 2 tracks from the EP on the album, which are going to be Horizons and Orbit. I think those 2 out of the EP kind of represent where we're going more. Mm-hmm. The new stuff is definitely a lot different than that, but those ones are definitely kind of foreshadowing a bit.
Horizon was actually my favorite with the cleans and the growls.
Cool, yeah, we were stoked on that one. I think it has a little more marketability than the other ones. It has a lot of hooks to it, I guess, rather than just being technical.
So, I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about this jamming style, but when you guys are doing this, do you just know that it's right? Like, is there a point where you say, you know what, this is it?
I guess so. Like, what we do, as I said, like, we, like, I tab out all the songs on Guitar Pro and stuff, and we learn them based off that, and then once we go into jam with them for the following weeks after the jamming stage, they change a lot, and I guess it's not really, like, active change. Like, we'll just be jamming, and then somebody will be like, oh, this would sound better, as a hammer-on or as a slider. I mean, whatever, it could be anything. And I think once we get to the point where we don't change things anymore, we know that we're happy with it. Time
to lay it down.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta ask you a little bit, just to get it out there, what do you guys use for influence? Who influences you these days?
We all listen to different stuff, really. I mean, I'm probably one of the only people in the band that consistently listens to metal most of the time. I listen to a lot of, like, there's a few bands right now. Volumes, The Contortionists, both great, like, heavy, I guess gent bands would be the genre, progressive. Periphery, obviously, is a massive influence on our style of music right now. I guess just their way of doing things in that kind of actual sound, like, not necessarily the way they write, because nobody really sounds like them, but the actual tone that they have and stuff like that has kind of made a big impact on that scene. Matt and Wade are guitarist and keyboard player, and I guess everybody really listens to a lot of, like, electronic music and dubstep too. And I'm sure, I guess, like, Matt has definitely a little burst of that in his playing. Like, he writes a lot of dubstep riffs, and then we actually end up blending them in, and, you know, like, if he'll write something like a dubstep riff that uses a certain rhythm, I'll replicate that, and we'll actually turn it into something heavy, you know. Yeah, I don't know, a very wide variety of stuff. Pretty much just metal and electronic stuff.
Awesome. There had to be a band, though, that, you know, sparked your guys' interest to go this route. I mean, it's not the most popular
actually, now that you mention it, well, Annex Theory started when I'm still only 19. Annex Theory started when I was 16, in grade 10 or 11, I think. And around then I was listening to a band called Threat Signal a lot. They're actually a Canadian band as well, from Hamilton.
Definitely.
Their album Under Reprisal had just come out, and their guitar player, Kyle McKnight, was a huge influence on me. Mainly because of his solos. I don't know, they were so melodic, but they were so, like, tasty and technical too. I don't know. That sort of sense of melody being incorporated into that heavy of a music I hadn't really heard before. So that was the main influence too. That's cool, because he's actually going to come out at our Hamilton show and hang out, so it's going to be a great time.
Well, one last question, Sam, before I let you go.
Sure.
If you had to pick the big four metal bands of Canada, past, present, doesn't matter who it is, who would you have on that stage?
Oh man, I'm gonna get ripped on for this because I have different taste. I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of great classic bands like Rush and stuff. I guess they aren't really metal, but for me, I definitely listen to more contemporary stuff. Obviously, Threat Signal, because they are pretty much the reason Annex Theory is a band. Protest the Hero is awesome as well. They're doing some great stuff. Their new album's amazing. So those two. Structures from Toronto. Have you heard of those guys?
Yep, certainly have.
Yeah, I've seen them live 3 times now, and every time it's progressively gotten better. So Structures and Fallen Archaea from Victoria, BC.
Excellent.
Those guys are amazing. We were supposed to play with them a while ago, but they ended up not being able to make it in, but I actually saw them play with Volumes last month, and they were sick. So, yeah, that would be my other one.
Well, where can people go to find when you're coming to their city and how to pick up Beneath the Skin?
Well, Beneath the Skin is on iTunes. We also have physical copies, which we're going to be bringing on tour with us, so check the tour dates on our MySpace page. We're definitely more active with our Facebook stuff. I guess, like everybody is, let's face it, Facebook is much easier now. So Facebook has the dates, MySpace, yeah, and check out Beneath the Skin on iTunes, Amazon, all other digital retailers. And yeah, if any of the dates are in your city, you can come and pick up a physical copy, and we've got shirts and everything too. So yeah, we like eating food when we're on the road.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Sam so much for doing this. And Annex Theory got an 8.5 by us, and they're definitely a Canadian band. Just a metal band right now to watch. So thanks again for doing this, Sam.
Thanks a lot for having me, man. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to review our stuff. And yeah, the album's going to be very different, so watch out for it.